Good morning. Thanks for joining us. This is Kathy for Getting Chatty with Kathy. I see that we're almost towards the end of the school year, and the kiddos, I'm sure, are getting anxious to have some summer break. I know I am. I have a really good product in the shop today, I think, for our summer vacations. One of the things that my friends know about me is that I don't drink a lot, actually, but I do like to smoke a little. So non-alcoholic drinks are like where I'm at, for sure. And I love alcohol. I don't have an apprehension or whatever the word is to it. I just find that, like, if I'm already smoking, you know, those left-handed cigarettes, I don't want anything more else. I'll feel mangled, right? Yeah. So having the option to drink a drink that's like a cocktail, but it's not going to make you feel too messed up, is something that I really think is a great thing to do now that we have marijuana that's legal. We also have a lot of people that, for years have drank alcohol, and I think we're just getting older and we don't want to feel like crap in the morning. So being able to have different options, and there's lots of them out there now, I think is like definitely towards better health for all of us and many other things. So if you guys haven't caught on already, I do have somebody here who's making some non-alcoholic beverages. It's the Alchømy, and I have Liam Neestun here.
Yeah, that's right.
And thank you so much for agreeing to come on the show. I know I kind of strong-armed him a bit because he does sell his drinks through my home business, QC Gifts. But you know what? I know you're doing something interesting, and it's worth talking about. So Why don't you tell us more about this non-alcoholic business you've started?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me on. We're really excited to start building and bringing some of these non-alcoholic beverages into Regina and into Saskatchewan here. We started about 2 years ago.
So you're a new business. Like you're just in your first 3 years. So are you working another job at the same time, or have you dived head into it first?
You know what? It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
So when we first started, actually kind of the I guess the way our company started is my business partner Nish and I, we had both, finished our university. We come out into our careers. I'm an accountant. He's a lawyer, and so we were finding at the start of our careers for the first couple of years, everything that always related to networking, career building, anything like that was always really, really alcohol driven.
Yeah.
And so we thought that's not fair, really. If you're somebody who doesn't drink at all,
lots of Sikh people are not drinkers.
Exactly, right? There's reasons for religion, health, addictions, maternity. There's 1,000 reasons why anybody wouldn't want to drink at all, or have the second drink that day, whatever it is.
Or if you're a pothead like me.
Exactly, right? And so we just found that it could really set you back in your career if if you just weren't participating like that. And so if you were out at a restaurant with your colleagues or anything like that, the options for non-alcoholic just weren't good enough.
You're right. It's like water, pop, coffee, tea.
Exactly. Yeah. And so if you want to be out enjoying like that, why can't you have like a finely crafted cocktail that really gives you that enjoying beverage culinary experience without having to tag on the alcohol as well?
You know what's funny is when, like, on my mat leaves and when I was having my babies, we did have to drink just pop, it felt like. And it was kind of, a non-alcoholic drink doesn't taste the same usually as an alcoholic drink. But what I found about your drinks, and you can talk about your flavors after, is it wasn't missing that flavor of alcohol. It's incorporated into a full, like it's a robust, what's the word?
Robust.
Yes, flavor. Like there's so many different flavors for a non-alcoholic drink. Like it wasn't like a typical like pop.
Yeah. So,
how did you come up with that idea? Like, and how did you make that?
So for us, when we started the company, like I said, professionally, I'm an accountant. He's a lawyer. we're not the culinary professionals, right?
Right.
And so when we started the company, we just started asking around to people, how could we make a drink like this? So you start asking bartenders and chefs and food scientists and sort of, asking around, how do you see the flavor of this cocktail or that, and sort of like what layers of cocktails really come together.
You have 2 flavors currently. It's a lime one or a lemon one, I'm sorry.
Right. So yeah, our 2 ready-to-drink canned cocktails right now they're both actually designed off of our original product we released about a year and a little bit ago, which was designed as like a bourbon replacement. So it's going to give you those layers of a smoky cocktail.
I was going to say that smoky flavor,
right? And it burns a little bit, and so we were working with these chefs, bartenders, everybody to figure out what are the layers that you get in a cocktail. Especially focusing on bourbon cocktails is where we wanted to start.
Okay.
And so when we created these ready-to-drink canned cocktails, just easy for somebody that you crack at the backyard barbecue or whatever, given a nice QC gift package.
Thank you. Open that up, and it's like not just like you have to add anything to it. It is there.
Exactly, right? And so the 2 flavors that we have in the cans are, one is a lemon lime drink that is still building on that smoky cocktail.
100%.
Still give you that burn.
I see, like, you could rim it and then pour it in with some ice, and it's just heaven.
Yeah. You could even squeeze a little bit of fresh lime in there, or like a couple of mint sprigs on top, right? You can dress it up however you want, right?
Totally.
These drinks are meant that you have them in the can.
But this isn't a drink that you could mix yourself very easily. So that's what I appreciated about it. It wasn't just like something simple.
Right.
It is those flavors. So you have your lemon lime.
Yeah, and so then the other one, still building on that smoky flavor profile, is a ginger beer centered drink, right? So if you like your mules or your dark and stormies or anything like that, you're going to get that sharp ginger beer bite paired along with the smokiness. So the 2 cocktails we have out right now, these 2 are both really designed to be within that bourbon flavor palette, that smoky flavor palette.
Definitely. It's not like a vodka spritzer at all.
Exactly. So
I appreciated it, though. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a niche.
Yeah. So we really wanted to build something that was going to be different than what's out there, because like what we found when we started the company, we're looking around at all the other products that exist in the category,
right?
And a lot of them are, just direct remakes of cocktails that everybody knows and loves. If you're thinking about your mojito and stuff like that, which is great, but what we found is the experience you get with those, if you're trying to compare them to the directly alcoholic one, is you're getting a more bland or less experienced version of that cocktail.
You're right.
And so what we decided is, let's start from the ground up and build a series of flavors that can give you some reminiscent feelings of some of the things you love about cocktails, but not make it a direct comparison to something, so you can love it for what it is and not dislike it for what it isn't. I
definitely can see what you're saying, and I can see it in the product. Very smart. Mm-hmm. I really like that a lot. So how does an accountant and a lawyer get together and start a non-alcoholic drink business? Like, tell me how that conversation is.
So my partner Nish and I, we grew up together since preschool. We were both from Regina. We've known each other since we were 4. We've lived down the block from each other growing up. And so we went through elementary school and high school and our bachelor's degrees at university together. And so we both did degrees at the University of Regina in business. And we were always, throughout our university education, always interested in, like, what makes a business? Like, how could you make a business? What makes a good business run or not run? That kind of thing. And so, we've always made a little game of bouncing ideas back and forth of, could we do this? Could we do that? What's stopping somebody from making a business like this or that? And, usually we're pretty good at being Debbie Downers and be like, well, this is why we can't do it or whatever. And
you talk yourself out of it.
Well, exactly, right? And the thing is, any business owner will tell you it's hard, right? Like, everything is hard. There's always going to be a problem. There's always something, right? You
always have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
There's lots of, like, putting yourself to something you've never done before.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Oh. It's never just doing the thing that you're good at. It's doing everything else also, and
then you have to conversate with your partner and be like, who wants to do what?
Yeah, well, exactly, right? So when we were, a couple of years out of university, I think Nish had just finished his law degree, and I was being an accountant. he came up with the idea like, hey, so I think you've been looking at this non-alcoholic sector, and at the same time, because of my professional experience so far, I was thinking like, yes, I've been thinking about this as well. And so we started looking into it, and that's when we started asking around to people who knew about flavors better than us.
Yeah.
How could we make it?
Because it definitely has a unique flavor that I haven't had in a canned drink before. And I was wondering, how the heck did you guys get that smoky flavor in there?
Yeah. So it's really interesting. Like you said before, it really is a niche kind of product, right? And it is our first series of products. These ready-to-drink canned cocktails, they're both definitely in that era of a smoky cocktail. And unlike our first product that was that bottled type of bourbon that you can find at a bunch of restaurants around Regina and Saskatoon, you don't have the opportunity really to mix your own cocktail with it, right? Or
it's made.
Right, it's made, and it's easy to drink like that. So we were really just excited to be able to start playing around with those flavors and build that product like that, and hear back from the community on what they did or didn't like, right? And that's really part of the entrepreneurial journey is trying something, getting feedback, and like you said at the start of the show, we're a young company. We really like to pride ourselves on being nimble, right? And so we've got this product out, and lots of people love it, and lots of people don't. Right, and so we're building some new stuff as well.
You don't have to make everybody happy either, and
exactly.
That's a really important thing as an entrepreneur. It's hard to say no, I don't want your money, even though you're telling me you will buy this, because you're not going down that direction. So I challenge you to really think about that, because you don't need to make everybody happy. But tell me how the community. I saw you were in Toronto recently. Were you shopping it to a hotel? What were tell me this process on sales. Because it looks interesting what you're doing.
So actually, Nish lives in Toronto, or not in Toronto. He lives in Southern Ontario, and so we started this business post-COVID in the everybody can do everything via Zoom meeting world.
Yes.
What does a company have to have a physical location for? And so he was living out there at the time and still does. And so we thought, all right, let's start this company. We'll base it out of Regina. We'll do production through, third parties we've done some in Regina. We've done some in Saskatoon in the past. And we'll start selling it here sort of in our community where we came from. But we'll also give ourselves the opportunity to expand it into where he's living as well, and sort of make this not necessarily just, okay, we start in Regina and we got to always increase the footprint by who's next door. It's a little bit more decentralized than that.
It's perfect though, right? Because you're honing in on your communities.
Well, exactly, right? And
Ontario's population base, and is it to be close to those major city centers is pretty cool to have that right at your fingertips.
Well, it's been really great. We've been able to find lots of resources out there in terms of bartenders and food scientists that have helped us create our first set of products and our next set of products that are coming out, that we just didn't have connections to in the province. Or
it takes time to get there.
Exactly, and it takes time, and so it's just been really great having sort of those two localities to ourselves. I guess it just sort of expands our ability to reach out to people, which is always huge and very helpful as an entrepreneur.
Get it in their hands.
Yeah.
That's what I say. So where can we find you here in Saskatchewan?
So in Regina, we're in most of the Sobeys and Safeways around the city.
Okay.
We got an ever-growing presence around restaurants in Regina.
Yeah.
And then in Saskatoon, we're also starting to grow in more Safeways and Sobeys and Co-op in the North End as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
The Co-op's wonderful.
Oh, they are. They're amazing. I love the sort of the local aspect of the way that they like to bring on products.
Yeah.
It's heartwarming. I love to see the local companies that are doing demos in their store and on their shelves.
The Co-op really definitely has that going for itself. And now that there's this PC strike going on and people aren't going to the superstores, I was at Co-op on the weekend, and man, it was so busy. It was it's great to see. I want our money to go back to the people that I am neighbors with.
Yeah, no, exactly. I experienced the exact same thing. I went grocery shopping at Co-op yesterday, and it was a zoo.
Yeah. It made me really happy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't even think I'm getting ripped off. Like, I always worry that I'm not getting the best value. Mm-hmm. But I really do feel like the Co-op has really stepped up its game with the local community, and the prices are, if not cheaper than they are at the superstores.
Yeah. I haven't noticed. I guess I'm maybe not the most price sensitive person out there, and some people are definitely like in tune with the dollars and cents of everything they buy.
Just wait someday when you're feeding a bunch of people, it changes your perception. But just in general, to have those options, and I love that somebody in our community isn't just like, oh, we don't have it, Regina's lame. Like, you're like, what can I do to do it here, and how can I do it? Mm-hmm. So, what are some of the positives of starting a business here in Regina that you found?
Oh, it's it's really great. So we've started, especially 2 years ago when we launched our very first product, the bottled one that was really designed to be
the bourbon.
Yeah, so it was designed to be used in cocktail bars, right? And so we found that going around Regina and going around Saskatoon, the ability to be a local business and go and get a meeting with the managers and the owners of these businesses and say, we've got this new product, we'd love to try, and here's how you might be able to use it in your restaurant, your bar. They're way more willing to give you a shot than like bigger chains or or bigger centers. Like you said, we're also working in Ontario, and we've got a little bit of sales out there. We mostly haven't been focusing out there, but definitely we find there isn't so much of a community
open arms.
Exactly, right? It's like, who are you? Are you?
You're one of 100 that I saw this week.
Well, exactly, right?
You can be a big fish in a small pond here.
Yeah.
And like, people will see that fish floating around, and you get more attention here, I think.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So okay, I'm gonna fast forward the clock. We're 10 years from now.
Okay.
Where are you guys?
Well, we'd like to think that our products have taken off. We're constantly, even today, building on creating new lines of products. Instead of just having our smoky cocktails, this summer we're expecting to have a series of more ready-to-drink cocktails that are more like in an aperitif space, right? Ooh, like if you like your Aperol spritzes, they're sort of more in the air of that.
Are you gonna make them like up a notch though? Like not just like your like fizzies or anything. It'll be better than a fizzy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be really good.
I bet it would. Like, because you're thinking more like about the drink than I think most people are.
Yeah. We're thinking about it all day, every day.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah. So, we're in 10 years, we're hoping to be able to build out our product line and have
the
drinks
smokies and then the aperitifs.
Exactly. We're really hoping to have drinks for everyone. Whether your flavor palette is sweet or bitter or spicy or whatever it is.
Right.
We want to have something for you. And so not only is that going to be in the canned cocktails that are, these nice fizzy, easily drinkable things, but if you want to have your home zero bar cart, we want to have those bottled products as well, where you can be mixing yourself and having, aperitif on the rocks or something like that.
And we can say we made it ourselves and like feel like we were fancy, but really we just rimmed it and put a lemon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Some people are really good at making drinks and other people aren't. I am on that forehand. Yeah. So like it's never good if you're asking me to make you a drink. I'll probably make it too strong because I don't know what I'm doing. And it turns out tasting really bad. So I appreciate that when you've made your drink, it's that. And like you can taste all those different layers of it without, having to do much. I really like that. I'm a fan. Yeah. So you have 10 years from now, you're across Canada, obviously. Yeah. And we're representing Regina with some of our flavors. Yeah. Tell me like the production of it. You said you did some in Regina, some in Saskatoon. I don't understand how the process works for making a beverage. So could you talk us through that? Just like, not like the nitty gritty, but like maybe you need to have like some kind of like food permit. Maybe you need to like then have it sit in something for a couple months, and then you can't. Like, I just don't know how it works.
Yeah, totally. So we're lucky in being in the non-alcoholic space. The creation of a drink is a lot more simple than anything that you have to brew or distill, and there's time, right? There's no waiting with that stuff, right? So from development of our drink, it's talking with, again, bartenders, chefs, people with flavor palettes better than your local accountant. And you come up with what are the series of flavors we want to get, and we work with flavor houses to say, okay,
what's a flavor house?
Good question. I didn't know before I started either. I'm not the expert in all of the food industry, but my understanding is lots of food products, if you look on the back of anything, it says, natural flavors on it.
Yeah.
It'll be from a flavor house, and what they specialize in is creating concentrated versions of flavors for you to use in your food making processes, right?
Interesting.
And so you can break down everything that you want to be for, in our experience in a beverage, bit by bit, what is the layer of flavor you're trying to do, right? And so you go talk to your flavor house, say, hey, we want to make, an orange rind flavor or something like that. And then they're like, okay, and they go away into their science machines, and they come out and they send you a sample and say, what is that like to you?
Interesting. So where does that happen? Is that in Canada? Or
it's in one of the sub-cities of Toronto. Is
really?
The one we work with. Yeah.
How neat.
So we work with flavor house to
get those concentrates.
Exactly, right, and figure out what the flavor is going to be, and then we work with a food scientist to say, okay, so we've got the series of flavors, and here's how we intend to put it into a beverage. Is it going to be safe?
Right.
And it's
what's the shelf life and all that?
Exactly, right. And so we work with them and sort of get a sign off or what we have to do with it in terms of pasteurization when it gets into the thing, right, into the bottle or can. And then we'll have, that's how you get your final recipe, as it were. And then we take it to, right now for our canned beverages, we're working with District Brewing in the city here. And so we use their tanks and their canning line and have
so they have the equipment, and you can just bring in your product to mix it all up there.
Exactly, right. And so us being this young company with no specific locale of where we are, we don't have $1 million facilities and equipment. We're working on getting our products right and getting all kinds of things out there. So we hire them to brew it for us and can it for us, and then also right now ship it for us. So
that's amazing.
And so that's that's another layer of why it's been so great to start in Regina. Is I've looked at going into other cities with our products as we try to grow and try to get more customers and that kind of a thing. And we talk to distributors in different cities, and their question is, how many pallets are you going to move a week? And I'm like, I'm trying to find somebody to get a flat. Yes. I'm trying to move 24 cans at a time, not 1,500.
You're not there yet.
Yeah, exactly. So
having a place here that can make it for you incrementally is probably
exactly.
amazing.
And then we can get onto their trucks when they're shipping to North Battleford or Saskatoon or Yorkton,
so they're like your new best friends.
Yeah, we love them.
That's wonderful.
It's been a great relationship. So,
and what company was that again?
District Brewing.
District Brewing. Yeah. Okay, thank you. It's really interesting the things that happen in the city that I never would have thought we could do that here, but really, why can't we, right?
Yeah, exactly, right? It's just so great having your local community be able to support each other like that, because, I don't know how else anybody starts a company or has any success without exorbitant amounts of money at their disposal, without having your community sort of lift you up.
It's true.
Yeah. And
the more we lift up people that are doing interesting, great things, the better our community gets, the more interesting it gets, attracts more better people. I just think all together, it just win. Yeah. When I saw what you guys were doing, I was really interested in it, because I have some friends that are, don't drink alcohol anymore. And, I saw in the city that there was more and more draft beer that was non-alcoholic, which is great, and they taste really good, all of the different flavors of beer, but I hadn't seen a really quality non-alcoholic beverage like that. And I'm happy. Okay, I did, full disclosure, the smoky flavor, you either love it or hate it.
Yeah. Yep.
My husband loves it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So he was like, oh my God, did you taste this, Kathy?
Yeah.
Like, all I taste is smoke. So I'm happy that you're going down other flavor palettes so that it could introduce it to somebody. Because you got me all right. I'm interested in your drinks. I think that that's really cool that you're now trying different palettes of flavors so that maybe somebody that would like to maybe like a fruity thing more or something could get that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, our goal really is to make something that's different, right? Like you were saying, there's lots of non-alcoholic beers out there, and there really are lots, and I think they're really, really good.
Yeah, all of them have like very good flavor. It's like not missing like anything.
And it just, the thing is if you don't care for beer, or it's not for every occasion,
right,
then what's the other options? And so that's what we're really proud to start building on is what's out there for other options, other occasions, right? And so that's not always going to be a smoky beverage, right? You not everybody sits down and say, ooh, I really could use a smoked old fashioned, right?
With my lasagna or something.
Well, exactly, right? Like it definitely has its place, but it's not right. It's not for everybody. So we're really excited to be able to take what we've learned from that beverage and build out different
palettes.
Exactly.
I think you guys are onto something really smart, and I'm really, really happy that you were able to come here and talk to us today. I'll make sure when I put this up to add your guys' website so that people can check it out.
Yeah.
And I do offer, their beverages with my gift boxes if you guys ever want to pick up one there. So thanks so much, Liam.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, you guys take care out there. Bye now.